Jaime Alguersuari was a bit of a prodigy, it has got to be said, during his junior years in racing, so it was a bit of a surprise that he was only able to last as long as he did in Formula 1. So what exactly happened to him? To start off, Alguersuari had a very accomplished karting career, winning multiple Copa Campeones junior trophies in 2003 and 2004, a junior ICA Spanish Championship in 2004 as well, and the proper ICA Spanish Championship in 2005. After racing in the Formula Junior 1600 and Formula Renault 2000 Euro Cup very briefly in 2005, he will join this Formula Renault category of racing full-time in 2006, as well as compete in both the Italian Formula Renault Winter Series, which he went on to clinch, and Formula Renault 2000 Italy, which was the main Renault competition in Italy. Alguersuari would again compete in the Renault Euro Cup and Italy Series in 2007 and significantly improve against 2006 results, with second in the championship in the Italy Series, claiming 3 wins, and was 5th overall in the Euro Cup. While Alguersuari did compete in some of the Spanish Formula 3 Championship in 2008, where he did win 3 out of 8 races he took part in, his main focus was on the British Formula 3 Championship for this year with Carlin. The championship was mainly a 4-way battle for the championship, with Alguersuari, teammate Oliver Turvey, Brandon Hartley, and Sergio Perez all involved in the title hunt, and all 4 were mathematical chances even in the final round of the season. But Alguersuari showed his true class, particularly in the final 3 races of the season, and would win each of these events to assure he would become the youngest ever British Formula 3 champion in history. I mean, beating Sergio Perez is an amazing feat, and it just really shows how prolific Jaime Alguersuari was. Additionally, he would perform his first testing at Formula 1 level in a Red Bull for 2008. At the start of the year 2009, Alguersuari would move into the Formula Renault 3.5 series, but at the second half of the Formula 1 season that same year, just after 2 weeks of becoming Toro Rosso reserve driver, Alguersuari would get a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where he'd replace Sebastian Bourdais and become a full-time F1 driver for Toro Rosso, and would become the youngest Formula 1 driver at the time at just 19 years and 125 days young. He was also the first driver ever born in the 1990s to race in Formula 1. It should also be noted that even though Alguersuari was now in Formula 1, he would still end up completing the Formula Renault 3.5 series, where he'd finished 6th overall. On his debut at the Hungarian Grand Prix, Alguersuari beat teammate Sebastian Buemi on race day, finishing 15th, albeit thanks to a Buemi spin. After a 16th place finish a month later at the Valencia Street Circuit, Alguersuari would retire in 5 of the final 6 races of the season, which included a scary shunt in Japan, but he did achieve a season best result of 14th at Brazil. Alguersuari did not score a single point in his short rookie season. The turn of a decade saw some decent improvement in Alguersuari's performances, where he only had to wait until the 3rd race of the season to score his first points in 2010, which were also his first points in his career, with a 9th place finish at the Malaysian Grand Prix, thanks to the new point system where the top 10 finishers all score points rather than just the top 8. 2 races later, the Spanish driver would finish in the final points paying position at his home Grand Prix. Unfortunately for the rest of the year, Alguersuari and the Toro Rosso were mainly towards the back of the midfield for the majority of the races and couldn't finish above 11th for the next 13 races. But the final race of the season at Abu Dhabi proved to be the exception, where Alguersuari would match his then career best finish of 9th and did very well to hold off a quicker Ferrari car driven by Felipe Massa. Alguersuari finished the season with 5 points and was 19th overall, compared to teammate Sebastian Buemi, who finished with 8 points, but the two were even in the head-to-head battle on race day with 6 apiece when both cars went on to finish. And although Alguersuari lost the quali count 11-8, he actually outqualified Buemi in the final 5 qualifying sessions of the season. With both Alguersuari and Buemi retained for the 2011 season, Alguersuari would once again have another season which saw further steady improvement. In saying this, however, the first 6 races of the year were a bit of a setback for him, as he failed to finish above 11th, which was achieved at the opening race in Australia. But he did achieve a career best qualifying result in his 6th race stretch of 7th in the Chinese Grand Prix. For the 7th and 8th race of the season, Alguersuari achieved his 2 best results at the time, with 2 8th place finishes at both Canada and Valencia. A 3rd consecutive points finish came at the British Grand Prix with 10th as well. Another 10th place finish at Hungary made it 4 points finishes out of 5 races. He achieved his best ever qualifying result right after Hungary in Belgium with 6th, but this would be wasted through no fault of his own thanks to Bruno Senna ramming into the back of him. He made up for this with a career best finish of 7th in Italy, however, making up 11 places on the grid, and then again about a month later in Korea with another 7th place. He'd finish in the points for one more race out of the final 3 races, with an 8th place in India, and with the final 2 races of the season being rather uneventful, he finished 14th in the driver's standings with 26 points, 11 more than Buemi, but he lost the qualifying count 12-7 to Buemi. Alguersuari also helped lead Toro Rosso to its best constructors finish since 2008, but being the cruel world that Formula 1 is, Alguersuari would be dropped from Formula 1 at the end of the year, and so would Buemi, for Jean-Eric Vergne and Daniel Ricciardo. Alguersuari was offered a reserve role for the team, but he turned it down, and has since said that there was a verbal agreement to race with Toro Rosso for 2012, which we know at the end of the day was not fulfilled. So after Formula 1, Alguersuari became a Pirelli test driver in 2012. According to the Spaniard, in the middle of that year, he had 100% secured a drive in Formula 1 for the 2013 season with Sauber and Force India linked, but did not end up getting the drive in the end due to commercial reasons. Alguersuari was so sure of this drive that he even passed up offers to compete in other championships. In the end, he remained as a Pirelli test driver again for 2013. 2014 would see Alguersuari move back into competition to the ADAC GT Masters, not doing a lot here, and later in the year moving into Formula E, where he was half decent with a season best finish of 4th in Argentina and was 13th overall, but probably would have been higher up if not for missing the final 2 races in London, thanks to fainting at Moscow after the race there, and was forced to sit out as his super license was temporarily suspended on health grounds. He'd have one last race as a guest driver in Stock Car Brazil in 2015, before calling it quits to motor racing, quoting that he had lost his love for his girlfriend. So what happened after his racing career? Well, Alguersuari has always spoken about his love for music, and was actually a part-time DJ during his time in Formula 1, where he went by the name of DJ Squire, a name he still holds today, and you can follow him on your socials like your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and whatnot. After fully retiring from racing, he has since taken his DJ profession full-time, and having listened to some of his tracks, they're actually pretty decent and worth a listen. Even to this present day in 2020, he's working tirelessly on producing new beats, and in a Reddit Q&A he did last year, it seems that he does not regret his decision one bit. In conclusion, I think Alguersuari was robbed of a F1 career that looked like it was about to blossom, but this didn't eventuate due to a very tough Red Bull regime and a lack of financial backing. But I am very happy for him now that he's got a DJ career going for him, and it is something he looks to really enjoy, and I wish him nothing but the absolute best. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more F1 content which I post on a regular basis.